Yeah, Fred, this involves a lot of people. Let me give you an example here. Since Pennsylvania started doing automatic voter registration little less than 2 years ago, the biggest group of people registering are made up of people who are not registering as Democrats or Republicans. And these folks who are involved in this legal effort say that independent voters should have a say in primaries.
I consider this one of the voting rights issues of our generation.
From a spot overlooking Independence Hall, a push to change who's allowed to vote in Pennsylvania's primaries, potentially opening them up to more than 1 million additional people.
How can a constitution with a free and equal election clause deny 1.4 million voters the right to exercise their franchise in every single election simply because they chose not to join some private association?
A new court filing led by plaintiffs including David Thornburg from Ballot PA Action and radio host Michael Smerconish asks Pennsylvania's Supreme Court to declare the state's so-called closed primary system unconstitutional. In Pennsylvania, there are 3.8 million registered Democrats, 3.6 million registered Republicans. 1.1 million voters are unaffiliated, not registered with a political party, and another 300,000 are registered in some other way.
We live in very polarizing times, and I firmly believe that when independent voices are excluded from the nomination process, we foster the rise of extreme at both ends of the political spectrum.
Well, there's a lot of history in closed versus open primary systems, and a lot of it depends on what the two major political parties themselves want to do.
Michael Moreland is a law professor at Villanova University.
If this is over the party's objections, it does potentially pose some federal constitutional First Amendment problems.
This lawsuit comes as voters later this year will decide whether several Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices should keep their jobs in retention elections. Do you think voters should consider the outcome of this and how the justices handle this when they decide whether to keep those justices?
Well, let me just go back to what I said at the outset. Today's the day we're talking about a legal argument.
Thornburg saying he wouldn't suggest voters consider it or not, and that they wanted to bring the matter to the justices, quote, expeditiously. Do you think it puts more pressure on those justices, though, to file it in this particular year?
I'll go back to what I just said. This really, we're filing a legal case here, and there's all kinds of collateral things that people can talk about, and there's a whole industry of folks that talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but we'll leave it to them for the time being.
So I reached out to the Department of State, who is named in this case, and they told me they are aware of the lawsuit and they are still reviewing it. I also reached out to both the Pennsylvania Democratic and Republican parties to get their take on things. I haven't heard back from either one. Live in Old City, I'm Lauren Mayk, NBC 10 News.